Hello and welcome to your Week 6 recap show. He's James the Thrusting Moynihan. I'm Ross Berge. We have your six-pack of topics here brought to you by PBR.
Smooth going down, smooth coming out. Do you believe in miracles? Chuck pulled off another improbable win on Monday night as Nate Washington failed to record a single point. For Johnny Diamond, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I can't believe Nate Washington didn't score a goddamn point.
Unbelievable.
But also, John should have never started Nate Washington when he has a player like Santana Moss sitting on his bench. Either way, Chuck is one lucky bastard.
Very true. All the stars have certainly aligned for Chooch so far this season as his team has started off with a league-best 6-0 record. But it looks like Lady Luck might be running directly into a brick wall in the next 3 weeks as Team Colella faces Vince Leung's club security, the Flying Hawaiians, and Jake's Too Big to Fail for the next 3 consecutive weeks. Mark my words, Ross. In 3 weeks, Chuck will sit at 6-3.
I hear you. All right, Basement Dwellers. Al and Andy got their first wins this week. Al had a 1-point win against Grimm, and Andy had the highest point total this week to blow out Snooters. Also worth noting, Andy talking trash on the bulletin board. And I quote, "Season starts now." That's right, bitches. This guy got his first win and is looking to build on that momentum. Don't call it a comeback.
Oh my, well, strong words. We've been waiting long enough for both of these characters to get into the win column after their epic Week 1 tie, and it's finally happened. This might blow your mind, Ross, but I think both of them will continue their win streak this week as Albert faces a John Hart team that has been just riddled with inconsistencies. And meanwhile, Andy's Big Ben's bedroom cleanup goes into a Week 7 matchup against Snoots, and shockingly, Andy sits at 5th. In overall points in the league. Shocking. Yep. Absolutely shocking.
Well, I'm happy for both of them, but I think Andy's an idiot to try and talk trash after his first win and being a third of the way through the season.
Very true.
But anyways, I'm with you on this one, Jim. I think Al and Andy both get wins again this week.
Oh,
yeah.
We move on to a fantasy Battleboro, if you will. My 3-3 Rat Tails face off against the 4-2 Flying Hawaiians in what is certainly a battle for North Attleboro supremacy. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I think this will be a close game with the flex position of being essential for a victory. With Deshaun Jackson out trying to remember his goddamn name, Rag will turn to Brandon Jacobs in the flex position, and you look to newly acquired Chad Ochocinco, who's projected for 14 points, even though he's averaged about 3.5 points in his last 4 games.
Well, this could be his breakout. But to me, it really comes down to the running backs. MJD and D'Angelo Sandwich Shop, they really need to stay competitive with Ray Rice and Chris Johnson. I think whoever can get in the end zone the most is going to get the victory this week, but it certainly should be a good one.
Yeah.
The top dogs, first place and undefeated Chooch, plays the second place JK, who now has 5 straight wins. Count 'em 5.
Yep. Well, Team Colella will lose this week. Mark my words. JK has 100 more points this year than Chooch. We've been saying, he'll lose every week, but I actually think it'll happen this time. His magic spell can't keep happening, especially against JK. And although JK has a lot of players on bye this week, look for JK to propel into first place.
Very true. Well, Team Colella has really turned into America's favorite son with that never say die attitude and certainly that boyish smile that we all know.
Oh, yeah.
But as I said earlier, Chuck's luck runs amok this week as he faces the soon-to-be first place Vince Young's club security. And personally, on the ESPN projected, JK's projected to beat him by 27 points. I'd take the over on that.
Wow.
This is going to be a bloodbath for Chuck.
I agree. All right, next topic, Pride Divide. 4th place Burgalicious will play 5th place Too Big to Fail this week in a battle for Natick Pride. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you literally only have 8 players who are eligible to play this week with byes, suspensions, and also injuries. So I think you might be in for a real long week. Jake's squad has been solid throughout the season, and as long as he decides to start Baltimore's defense against Buffalo instead of Detroit, who he has in there right now, who really nobody should even have on their team, I think Jake moves to 4-3. So that's what we're looking at.
All right.
Next up is that matchup is our marquee matchup. Get Jake on the phone here. we go.
Let's shut that guy up. We should probably put it on
Think he's
speaker.
on.
Hello, Jake. No.
Hey,
Oh,
Oh,
Jake,
he is
there he
there.
is.
All
Wonderful.
right.
Perfect. Jake, thanks for coming on the show. Pleasure to have you.
hey guys, I really appreciate you having me on. I look forward to viewing you guys every week, so it's just great to be a part of this.
Great. Well,
Of
we're
course.
real happy to have you on here. My question for you, you're facing off against Bergilicious over here. What are your thoughts on his squad?
Well, listen, aside from my general lack of respect for Ross as a person and as a
Woo-hoo-hoo!
competitor,
All right,
I
all right.
think his team is pretty good. I think I've made it known throughout the league that Ross has done a very good job of trading up
Thank
to
you, thank
improve
you.
his squad.
All right.
But I think unfortunate this week that he's got some convenient bye weeks that'll keep Reggie Wayne and
Yeah.
Andre Johnson on the bench.
Certainly.
Yep.
They can't hurt me, fortunately. And his team also has done a good job this year of playing very good defense. Only 422 points against, and only Chuck at 390 points against, which is just ridiculous.
Surprise there, huh?
He's Ross in that category.
Yep.
And the other thing, I looked across, and when Ross is the away team, he's 3-0 this year, and I think he's the away team. This
Woo-hoo.
Wow, yeah.
I play good on the road. I play good on the
He's kind of
road.
like Jacksonville, doesn't get a lot of fan support there.
That's right.
Both of you now, it's a Natick battle. Do you think Doug Flutie might be watching on?
You know what? I spoke to Doug earlier this season. He said that this was his primetime marquee matchup of the year.
Excellent.
And we're
Nice.
going to see the squaring off of Bergilicious and Too Big to Fail.
Yep.
Excellent. Now, maybe do you have a projection, score you might want to throw out there for the matchup this week against Bergilicious?
Well, listen, I am coming off a disappointing week last week,
Yeah.
especially after I called out Jed on his trade. He came back and kicked my ass.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to put up, in the high 80s to low 90s in points and, just hopefully come out on top. I think my squad has the potential. I've got a lot of guys who have overachieved so far this year, so I just need some quality games and guys I expect to do well, like a Phillip Rivers or Steven Jackson, who have been a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jake, I'd like to hear from you. I know there was some back and forth on Gmail with JK describing his reasons for that trade of Arian Foster and Malcolm Floyd for, who did I get again?
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian
I believe it
Peterson,
was,
that's
and
right.
Greg Jennings.
Your thoughts on that trade, Jake?
Well, I think I've made my thoughts known that I think anytime you can pick up the number 2 pick overall in the draft,
Yep.
as well as a guy who I believe went off in the second round,
Yep.
or 2 guys who didn't even sniff the 5th round, and a guy who was way later, I think it was over 100 pick.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that you got to like that trade. I understand in the short term, a couple Foster and Jennings. I guess Jennings came to you, but Foster has been having a great season. He had a great
Cool.
week again last week.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, when you look forward to the next 10 weeks or so of the season, and you draft, you got to go with the proven guys and the guys who year in and year out get your results. And I think that AP and Jennings have proven that. And
Yep.
those were my reasons for thinking the trade was very lopsided.
Okay. All right. Good
That's
points.
a great analysis,
Great points,
and I,
yeah.
quite frankly, couldn't have said it any better myself.
I'm sure you could have, James.
Well, yeah, you know what, I lied. I say things pretty well. Well, we certainly appreciate you coming on the show.
Yep.
And ladies and gentlemen, this has been our marquee matchup.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
guys. Be well.
Thanks. Get back to work.
Good night and God bless.
Later, Jake.